Thank you very much, everybody. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Rod Laver Arena, the jewel in the crown of Melbourne Park and one of the world's best sports and entertainment precincts. Tonight, we'd like to recognise some of the leaders of our state who have contributed to this magnificent precinct as we celebrate its 30th anniversary. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome former Victorian Premiers, Mr John Brumby, Mr Ted Baillieu, Mr Dennis Napthine, and we'd also like to acknowledge Mr John Cain, who as Premier in the 1980s was instrumental in the relocation of the Australian Open from Kooyong to what we now know today as Melbourne Park. Thank you, gentlemen. And now to help us celebrate the 30 years of Melbourne Park, it's my great pleasure to welcome out here onto Rod Laver Arena the very first champion at this complex. Would you please welcome Mats Wilander. Welcome, Mats.
Thank you.
Firstly, what's it like to come back out onto the arena? 1988, you're the first champion. It must be very, very special to be here.
Yes, it is extremely special. Obviously, this is the premier tennis facility, I would say, in the world. They keep expanding, keep redeveloping. The Happy Slam is very true. I think everyone, especially the Europeans, coming over here in the wintertime in Europe to play, it's everybody's in a good mood. So this is a very special moment.
1988 was a very special year for you. You obviously win the tournament here, but you also go on to win Roland Garros and the US Open. Probably the best year of your career?
Yes, it was. Yeah, except this year.
Tell us about the 88 final, though. You're playing against our countrymen. I remember as a 16-year-old, I sat just behind the players' box over there and watched the final. It was hugely motivational, hugely inspirational. Talk us through just a little bit of your memories. In particular, we were chatting about match point.
Yeah, I came into the net. I usually didn't come into the net, but we were playing in the sun. There was a bit of rain as well, but they never closed the roof, we think. Neither Pat or I really remember, but it rained a couple of times, and not sure if they couldn't find a button in those days, but they obviously have found it now. It was weird. It was obviously the bicentennial birthday of Australia. We had fireworks in the middle of the finals, and we both ended up in the same nightclub afterwards, celebrating together. So we're good with it now.
Talk about the roof, because it was controversial in a way. I mean, it was the future of what all the young players today take for granted. But the very first Grand Slam final played under a roof was the women's final that year when Steffi Graf beat Chris Evert. What was it like for players and the thought of playing an indoor-outdoor tournament and the crossover?
Oh, there was no, I don't think anyone wanted to do that. We play enough indoor tournaments. We didn't want to play indoors. Today, I think it's okay with the players, but for us, it was not okay. I have to say, the first week here at Flinders Park, as it was called then, was a bit weird, because what are we doing? It's a new tournament. What happened to Kooyong? What happened to the grass courts of Kooyong? And into the second week, all the great players are still left in the tournament, and suddenly, this really is the first sort of real Australian Open in downtown Melbourne. Obviously, Kooyong was just outside, so it's just grown, and it's more special every time I come back.
Well, 30 years on, it's amazing how the tournament has progressed. It's great to have you back every year. You'll be playing in the Legends event next week. We look forward to seeing you back out on court, and the way that you also promote our tournament through your television in Eurosport. Mats, great to have you. Ladies and gentlemen, would you please put your hands together for Mats Wilander?
Thank you, Todd.